This is Brian with a Redefined Life. I hope everybody's had a good week. It's Friday and the weekend's coming on pretty quick here. And I just want to bring you some news articles that's happening in the Christian community. And let's just jump right in and take a look. So the first article here, this is covered in a Center magazine. It's covered other places, but I'll link this in the description. And it's Russell Moore. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. So Russell Moore, which he is an editor-in-chief of Christianity Today, which is a very popular Christian magazine. And he compares Trump voters to porn addicts seeking physical gratification. This article came out on November 14th. States here, whether in his former role as an Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission or his current role here as an editor-in-chief of Christianity Today, Moore's disdain for Trump and his supporters has been a defining theme of his public life. You know, I've talked about many times where it doesn't take but just a second to lose a witness for Jesus Christ. We could build years building up a rapport with somebody, whether it's at work with somebody that we know, and then we make some kind of comment or we do something, and it may be out of character, maybe we did or didn't do it, meant to do it, but we could lose that entire witness very quickly. In his latest missive, titled How to Get Through the Next 4 Years, Moore predictably frames the election outcome as a national tragedy, thinly veiling his contempt for millions of Americans who dared to vote against the progressive machine. Moore laments the return of the Donald Trump show for another 4 years. And it says here he doesn't bother to acknowledge the reasons a million of Americans voted this way, defending unborn lives, protecting religious liberties, rejecting woke anti-family agenda, and at least making an attempt to preserve what's left of our freedom and rights. Now, I don't want to get in who was the better candidate, but what I do want to point out as Christians is that if you are going to support a political candidate and one is for abortion and one is against abortion, that particular decision should be fairly easy. Not that neither one of them is perfect. They both got things that their policies, if they have policies, is maybe not the best route to go. But as a Christian, we look at those fundamental values that they have, and that should make your decision at least strongly favor one particular candidate over the other. So it says the article drips of condescension, but it's Moore's analogies that reveal his true contempt. He compares political engagement in the Trump era to pornography, a revolting and frankly insulting analogy. Says here that this kind of political drama is related to actual political life in the way that pornography is to intimacy. Porn gives the same physical sensation as sexual union. The nervous system responds the way it is meant to respond in the union of a husband and a wife. It just does so by getting rid of the love, the connection of the other person. In other words, it gives the physical sensation without what actually brings about the joy. So the reason I brought this article up here to show you guys is so that way that you can see that, we have a person here that's in a fairly powerful position, considering that he's an editor-in-chief of Christianity Today. He has sway. What he says can influence a lot of people. And this type of rhetoric, coming from a Christian in that position, or any Christian really, is unbecoming of a Christian. It doesn't show love or compassion or the things that Christians should be demonstrating. It really shows a lot of hatred and contempt. So here's an article. Now, when this first came out, it was labeled as disinformation, that this never happened, that the Fema was telling their employees that they should not help and avoid any Trump supporters that had signs or anything that would support Trump on their properties. So now this FEMA official was actually fired for telling their staff to avoid helping Trump supporters. So I just wanted to bring this article up because it was a follow-up of something that was happening earlier this week, and there wasn't actually an outcome of it, that this FEMA official was fired. But it does demonstrate here again that we've got such a divide in this country on which political side that you fall on. So I bring this article up here. It just started out as disinformation. Nobody wanted to believe it. And it doesn't matter if you were on the left or the right. It was a serious type of offense that was happening. But as Christians, we really need to focus on unity and try to bring people together for the good of the nation and the good of the people of this country. So this article here is from crosswalk.com, and this is a positive article for once here. So I don't know if you know Skillet. They're kind of a rock band, but they're a Christian rock band. And John Cooper here, he reveals why he feels called to defend the faith. And if you watch any of Skillet's live performances, Cooper, he does talk about the gospel message. And that's something that we don't see from a lot of Christian artists. So now he's getting some backlash within the music community because he does stand on his faith. Maybe you scroll down here, it just says the Christian rocker, who is known as much for his passion in apologetics and his powerful rock anthem, says he feels called to defend the faith and to encourage believers as they navigate an increasingly secular world. It just goes on here. He says, he's known for his passion of apologetics and his powerful rock anthems. And it says he feels called to defend the faith and to encourage believers to navigate in an increasingly secular world. So Cooper wrote a book in 2023, this Wimpy, Weak, and Woke, How Truth Can Save America from Utopian Destruction. And I want to read that book because the title just sounds interesting. Cooper, though, wasn't always known for an outspoken apologist. For most of the band's history, launched in 1996, Cooper stuck to music. He released the first book around the same time he debuted his podcast, Cooper Stuff. It goes on, God began putting those seeds in my heart around 2014, and that is when I realized that the world is changing to a degree that, frankly, I do not understand, he told Crosswalk Headlines, referencing his desire to speak about Christianity and cultural issues. I began a journey of what's going on, but I knew by 2017, I knew that God was calling me to be someone that would defend the faith and that would stand up for Christian morality. And it was around 2019 when he finally decided I have to do this. I really like Skillet, and I'm really impressed by, Cooper's decision to stand up for Christianity. It was amazing when I first, started listening to their music and watching some of their videos when he would talk about the gospel message to his audience. Now, as a musician kind of in the rock industry or the rock genre, it could be suicide for your band when you start talking Christianity. Well, thanks for watching. If you not like the videos, please do. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that as well. Hit that little notification bell. And I hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll continue bringing these news articles as they come out. Thanks for watching.